You know how football's almost here? The Seahawks' first unofficial depth chart has officially been released. Just like the yellow line when you're watching on television a football game, this is unofficial. Put together by the Seahawks PR department. We are going to go through it one by one on this edition of Seahawks Today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the quarterback position. Geno Smith is without question QB number one. Not a quarterback competition this go round. Drew Lock holding steady at QB two. Well, Holton Ahlers, he looks like he could be your middle school teacher or an insurance agent, but at the time of this recording, he is holding things down as your QB3 for now. Meanwhile, the backfield for Seattle. This is where things get a little interesting, right? Kenneth Walker is your running back number one, but obviously he's got the injury going on right now, and so he's kind of week to week at this point while we wait for his recovery. DJ Dallas is the number two running back with Nick Bellore as the fullback. Big opportunity for Zach Charbonnet to potentially work his way up the depth chart. Kenny McIntosh, we've heard, has gotten some first-team reps. He's impressed so far throughout training camp to this point. But for me, the big thing to watch for as far as this running back position goes is Zach Charbonnet. And with Kenneth Walker not playing in Thursday night's game and Charbonnet likely to see a full workload, as you can imagine, a decent workload that is, I think you have a big chance for Zach Charbonnet to show what he's worth. Is anyone expecting Kenneth Walker to give up his number one running back position? No, I don't think so. I think Charbonnet is your guy to be your number two back, at least, behind Kenneth Walker. But could things change down the road if Kenneth Walker has injuries that stack up, if he doesn't recover properly? Sure, this is a huge chance for Zach Charbonnet to show his worth and to move up that depth chart and get significant playing time. And who knows? Maybe we're talking later down the road that he earns that number one running back position. When it's all said and done, who is going to be the top running back for the Seahawks in 2023? Will it be Kenneth Walker III or will it be Zach Charbonnet? This is our pinned comment today. Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comment section. KW for Kenneth Walker III. ZC for Zach Charbonnet. Weigh in. Tell us what you think. Who is going to be the top running back for Seattle this season? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Seahawks fans, you will not want to miss it coming up on Thursday night as we'll be live for the Seahawks and Vikings game, our first watch party of the 2023 NFL season. We'll go live about an hour before kickoff, and we will guide you through the night and react to the game in real time and enjoy ourselves too. Not only are we going to give you insights from our perspective, but we're going to entertain you as well. We'll have a Super Chat Palooza, a few drinks on hand. I guarantee you will have a good time if you join us coming up Thursday night for our watch party. Subscribe now. Link is in the comments section so you never miss a moment. Not only our daily segments, but our watch parties as well. And all this week, we are battling Vikings Now. Why are we battling Vikings now? Not only do we want to beat the Vikings on the football field, but off the football field as well. Friend of the show, Patrick Seatman, leading the charge over at Vikings Now. They're doing pretty good on their subs this week. They got about 50 new subs. We're a little bit behind. Got to play some catch-up. We want to take it to them. We want to prove Seeps that we got the best fans in the National Football League. So, subscribe now for free. Let's take them down in this sub battle and show them who's boss here on Seahawks Today. The wide receiver position for the Seahawks. DK Metcalf, your leading receiver, alongside Tyler Lockett. But then things get interesting at the number 3 spot. Dee Eskridge, despite the 6-game suspension, holds that spot with Jackson Smith and Jigba at number 4 for now. And that's the key word, for now. I think we all anticipate that JSN is going to move up and that he is going to be that number 3 receiver. You drafted him with the expectation that he would get immediate playing time. And with Dee Eskridge, I know that he's wide receiver 3 at the moment, and he's impressed with what he was able to do in OTAs and training camp and all that. But the truth of the matter is this. Dee Eskridge has not played well his first couple of seasons in the National Football League. He's been very injury prone. And now you have these charges from a couple months ago, the 6-game suspension. I mean, Dee Eskridge has been a bum. Let's be honest with y'all, okay? If we're going to be realistic here. Dee Eskridge, while he might be wide receiver 3 at the moment, I think that he's closer to missing the roster than he is to actually being wide receiver 3 when the season begins for the Seahawks. So, sure, things may have gone well during the offseason with his performance on field, but count me skeptical, to say the least, when it comes to Dee Eskridge. Moving on to the tight end position, no real surprises here. Dissly, Fant, and Parkinson. You'll see times where the Seahawks run 2-3 tight end sets. Dissly, technically the number 1 tight end, but Noah Fant obviously will have his days as well to lead the charge for the Seahawks. The offensive line is where things get pretty interesting for Seattle. At the moment, Brown and Haynes holding things at the center and guard spots. Damian Lewis also there, Charles Cross, and Abraham Lucas on those tackle positions. Now, it's the interior that I want to focus on here. Haynes and Brown are your starters at the moment, but as we've seen from this depth chart so far to this point, obviously there is an edge given to the veteran players at this point in time, that they're making the rookies earn those spots. And, you know, you talk about Anthony Bradford or Oluwatimi. Those guys have impressed so far throughout training camp. We've heard Pete Carroll give some high praise for those guys and their potential to maybe even be starters when the season begins. But they still have to earn it. They still have to go out there and put in the work to pass those guys up in the depth chart. Another thing with Evan Brown to keep in mind as well is that he has experience not just at center but at guard. So while he may be the starting center, and we heard from Pete Carroll say that if the season started today, he would be that starting center right now, don't rule out if Olu does outplay him and earn that job, the possibility of Evan Brown maybe shifting over to a guard spot potentially. Long ways to go, but the young guys are going to make things very interesting when they compete for those starting roles. Pick a starting center. Is it going to be Evan Brown or is it going to be Olu? Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comments section. EB for Evan Brown. OO for Oluwatimi. Let me know who you think is going to be that starting center in the comments section. EB for Evan Brown. OO for Olu. Let us know. Seahawks fans, we have some fantastic hats that are on sale. It's part of the brand new sideline collection of hats, and these are some of the options as we have the throwback, the ball cap style, we got the flat bill. And when you're watching the Seahawks on Thursday night, what you're going to see from players, coaches, personnel on the sidelines, they're going to be wearing some of these very same hats that you're seeing on your screen. And you can order these hats and still get them in time for football season as well. So what are you waiting for? Get yours now, chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. They get yours today. That's chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. Be rocking with your hawk out, representing your favorite team. Get these snazzy hats. There's more options available besides just the 3 that we've showed you on your screen as well. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hats for more. Let's go to the defensive line now. And one of the big things that the Seahawks did that Pete Carroll and company decided at the beginning of camp was to move Jarran Reed over to the nose tackle spot. Seems like he is in well position to start there. Look out for Cam Young as well to compete for some playing time at that position to be a rotational piece. Also, Brian Mone, nowhere close to returning at this point in time as far as his injury goes of filling that spot. Something to monitor there. Draymond Jones has been fantastic in camp. That's how things look at the moment. Wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks make another addition there for that interior of the defensive line, or maybe another pass rusher or something to watch for there. Let's take a look at the linebacker position and some huge changes for the Seahawks, comparably speaking to 2022, with just one returning starter from last year, that being Uchenna Nwosu. Meanwhile, next to him, Bobby Wagner takes over as the lead inside linebacker. He'll be the signal caller, the green dot for Seattle after a year where he was with the Los Angeles Rams, and he still was fantastic last year in L.A. Bobby should have a big year. Devin Bush fills in on the opposite inside linebacker side of Bobby Wagner, while Jordan Brooks is out for the time being, and no timetable yet on when we'll see Jordan Brooks make his return at this point in time. Devin Bush comes over from the Pittsburgh Steelers, where his numbers the last couple of years have been down compared to his rookie season, his first year there in Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, the outside linebacker position opposite of Uchenna and Nwosu belongs to Boye Mafe right now. Pete Carroll called him one of the most impressive players throughout training camp so far to this point. He's beating out Darrell Taylor, and the assumption was by many that Darrell Taylor, coming off a season where he had 9.5 sacks, would step into that starting role. But Boye Mafe has been so good that it looks like he's earned that spot for now. Huge opportunity for him. Also, other pass rushers to watch for. Derek Hall, the second-round pick out of Auburn. Should be interesting to see what he does. Also, watch for Vi Jones, who currently has a spot in one of those inside linebacker positions. He was a UDFA last year, and if Jordan Brooks is not going to be ready for when the season begins, huge opportunity for him to not only make the roster, but also see significant playing time as well. To the corner position, where we find no longer Tariq Woolen, but now known as Reek Woolen, filling one of the spots on the right side. Meanwhile, Mike Jackson on the left side. And Mike Jackson, we heard from Pete Carroll, called the MVP of OTAs. He was outstanding with the work that he put in the offseason program. That's continued over to training camp. It looks like those two are your outside corners. And you may notice also, looking at this where things stand right now, that Devon Witherspoon is not one of your starting outside corners at the moment, that he is your starting nickel corner at this point in time. Trey Brown's been really good at camp. And Kobe Bryant, not listed under corners. We'll explain that here in just a second. Let's start with the outside corner stuff. Jackson and Woolen starting at outside corner is a product of the success of Mike Jackson, okay? I know people right away are going to jump to, well, Devon Witherspoon had that holdout, and I'm sure that didn't go very well. Maybe that's working against him. You might read into that, and I understand why you would, but to me, this is more about the work that Mike Jackson has done. He started all season at that spot, and the work that he's put in so far this offseason has not given the Seahawks reason to pull him from that spot for now, that he's earned the right to be there. So if we're going to see Devon Witherspoon on that opposite side, we are going to have to see significant difference of an upgrade between him, comparably speaking, to Mike Jackson. But right now, it doesn't look like it's there at the moment. Pick a CB2. Is it going to be Devon Witherspoon or Mike Jackson on that side? Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comment section. If it's Mike Jackson, type MJ. If it's Devon Witherspoon, type DW. Let us know in the comment section below. At the safety spot, we see Quandre Diggs and Julian Love filling those two spots with Jamal Adams out with injury right now. And the idea is that if Jamal Adams were healthy, he would slide in the opposite safety spot from Quandre Diggs, and Julian Love would be a hybrid role of sorts, where we would see 3 safety sets, or maybe him play some nickel at times. You are going to find a usage for all 3 safeties on the field together. Not worried about that. Kobe Bryant getting one of those spots. Kobe Bryant, pretty fascinating. This is a guy that we've seen the Seahawks kind of throw around everywhere. And whether it's been nickel corner or now backup safety, the main thing that I like from Kobe Bryant is the versatility that he's bringing to the table. If he can help multiple spots, that's a great thing for this Seahawks team as far as I'm concerned. Watch out there. We'll see what he does. Also, Joey Blount with that injury that he suffered in practice. Nice to have another option with Kobe Bryant as far as that goes. Special teams. This might be one of the best special teams units in all of football this year. Jason Myers, Michael Dixon holding things down at kicker and punter. Chris Stoll comes in from Penn State. He was the best long snapper in all of college football last year. DJ Dallas expected to be your kick and punt returner, your lead guy. But you may notice at the very bottom of your screen some notable names there. Besides just Tyler Lockett and Dee Eskridge, Jackson Smith and Jigba listed as one of the punt returners. It looks like Seattle is serious about using JSN as a returner and throwing him back there at times. I think it's fascinating. We know he's a heck of an athlete. I'd be very curious to see how he does in that role, but you also have to ask yourself, at what risk, right? Don't necessarily want to get him hurt. You drafted him coming off in injury as is anyway. So I'm a little hesitant there. It sounds intriguing. It sounds fun if you're playing Madden, but this is real football here. I don't want JSN getting hurt because he's doing a job that somebody else like DJ Dallas could have done. So now that we've gone through the entire depth chart, how would you grade it for your Seattle Seahawks? Weigh in. Tell us what you think. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section what your grade for the Seahawks depth chart would be. Hit me up on social media for more Seahawks coverage on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and more. At Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there. I'll see you next time here on Seahawks.